I'm posting this because I can't get the sound out of my head anymore. And because if something happens to me, I want there to be a record that I tried to say something. I work search and rescue. Most trips start the same way. A knot of adrenaline in your chest and a kind of quiet that settles in once the rotors spin up. It's not awkward silence. It's more like focus. The part of your brain that wants to chat gets shelved because there's a chance, sometimes a slim one, that you're about to keep someone alive. You don't waste that headspace on small talk. That night was quieter than usual. The call came in clipped and hesitant. One hiker, male, mid-30s, broken leg, possibly compound. Coordinates flagged as restricted. The dispatcher paused before reading them out, like she was testing whether the words would come back to bite her. I asked what the restriction was. She said, "Night ingress, waiver required." I asked why. "Authorization is being processed," she said. That was already wrong. Usually, you get a reason. Wildlife corridor, radio quiet zone, training airspace. Something you can wrap your head around. This time, they just listed rules. No spotlights, no ground lights, no hovering longer than absolutely necessary. Land only if conditions were verified as safe. And if visual confirmation failed, pull out and reassess at first light. They also had us load up, more than normal. Rifles, shotguns, extra magazines, stuff we technically carry, sometimes for bears or mountain lions, but this was excessive. The kind of loadout that teaches you which questions not to ask. I signed where they told me to sign. The pilot didn't comment. He just checked the weight twice. We lived to just before midnight. As soon as we were airborne, the chatter urge died. Focus set in. The cabin lights dimmed, leaving just enough glow to read instruments. Below us, the land flattened into texture. Trees, rock, shadow stitched into something unreadable. We crossed into the restricted zone, and that's when the pilot finally spoke. "How mangled your guy?" I didn't catch it at first. The rotor shredded the words. What? He didn't bother repeating it the same way. "How torn up is he?" "Just a broken leg," I said. "Alert. Breathing fine." "Jesus," he muttered, easing off the throttle. That's when I saw them. 2 heat signatures near the tree line. One of them wasn't moving at all. The other one was. The moving one looked wrong, not fuzzy, not distorted, just wrong. Like something moving that shouldn't have had the anatomy for it. It was big, too. Bigger than it had any reason to be. The pilot slowed, not hovering, just bleeding speed. "I don't like this," he said. "We're right on top of him," I said. "Down and up in under 2 minutes." He tilted the bird slightly, watching the display. "You see that?" he asked. I see it. That big one keeps tracking us." Every time he adjusted laterally, it adjusted too. Not chasing, not fleeing, just staying where it needed to be. "You see that other heat source?" he asked. "What other?" "Yeah," he said. "That's what I'm saying." My stomach dropped. "That's him. That's the hiker." "No," the pilot said. "That's still one of them." I argued. I said the guy was alive when he called it in. I said broken legs don't kill you overnight if you don't panic. I said we were armed. I said we were right there. The pilot didn't raise his voice. Look, I'm not putting this bird down with that huge thing lurking around, especially if I can't see a spotlight to see it. Let's circle wider, I said. Give me 30 seconds. Can't, he said. Rules. Rules don't mean shit if he dies. He finally looked at me, not angry, not scared, just tired. Rules don't mean I don't get you killed too. Below us, something shifted. The big heat signature moved faster, arching around the clearing like it was testing boundaries. The smaller one, the still one, twitched. An arm, maybe, or something shaped like one. I'm pulling out, the pilot said. We're right here, I shouted, and hated how thin it sounded. We climbed. As we did, I swear, I heard a scream. I know rotors can mess with your head. I know adrenaline fills gaps, but the sound I heard had rhythm. It broke. It tried again. It sounded human enough that my body reacted before my brain could argue with it. The heat signature followed us longer than it should have, staying just outside the wash. Then it stopped, like it had learned something and didn't need to keep watching. The report I filed was clean, by the book. Unsafe conditions, unable to land, visual obstruction. No mention of movement patterns, no mention of heat signatures that didn't add up. No one asked me to clarify. We went back at first light. Daylight makes liars out of fear. The area looked ordinary. Trees, dirt, a shallow ravine cutting through the slope where the coordinates of the hiker should have been. There was blood everywhere. Too much for a broken leg. Pooled. Smeared. Sprayed across rock and bark. No drag marks that made any sense. No tracks that lined up with anything we know how to follow. No body. We searched until we were told to stop. The official cause was exposure. The file was flagged. The coordinates were redacted and the copy I was allowed to keep. The weapons log was sealed separately. It wasn't the first time I'd seen that done. I still work search and rescue. I still feel that focus settle in when the rotors spin up. I still tell people to stay on marked trails and respect closures. But there are zones I don't volunteer for anymore. Places where the gear is heavier than the injuries justify. Places where you're told not to use light because seeing clearly would make the decision harder. Sometimes, when the chopper gets loud enough, I think I hear something underneath it. And I tell myself it's just adrenaline. I have to.